I've heard you put down about everybody that's run for president lately. Who should we be looking at for the next election?
Nobody that they offer you. See, you don't have a choice. You don't choose who runs, and you think that if you elect one or the other, that you're going to get a good choice. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter who you elect if the people didn't choose them, and the people never do. Not only that, but there's a misconception in this country. You think your vote counts. Your vote doesn't count. The president is elected by the Electoral College, not the popular vote.
What are we going to do?
Well, we've got to wake up, number one. The biggest goal, the biggest task that we have in front of us is to educate the millions of sheeple that inhabit this country and the world. It's not just us that's in danger, it's the entire world. The New World Order will be a totalitarian socialist government. A benevolent despotism is what those at the top call it.
I don't even understand that.
Most people don't.
I don't even understand that. So what do you suggest we do?
Well,
just sit back and...
No, don't sit back. You need to...
AK-47 and...
No. You should have something on hand in case everything falls apart to protect yourself, your family, and your community. But what I'm advocating is that if enough of us wake up, and really become responsible and understand really what's happening and how the system works, and understand that this is not a democracy, it's a republic, and democracies never work, they always deteriorate into socialism, and then a dictator rises up and takes charge. And eventually, if democracy lasts that long, it destroys itself with immorality and licentiousness. Look at the old Roman Empire, which began as a democracy. Look at all the democracies that sprang up and tried to survive in the past. Look what happened to them. You see, when you have one man, one vote, the people basically are selfish. They're greedy. They always vote themselves everything that they can possibly get until there's nothing left and everything disintegrates. If you want to sit back and let it happen, well, that's your choice, but I'm not sitting back and letting it happen. I'm just one person just like you. Educate your family, educate your neighbors, educate your community. Take our country back. As a republic, become once again what we were intended to be. Of, for, and by the people means that we have to know everything that's happening in Washington all the time. We are supposed to be the arbiters of our own fate. We must be the watchdogs of our government. We began as sovereign kings in our own right when this country was formed, and the government was our chattel servant. We are quickly becoming the property of the government, which is becoming, once again, the Roman Empire. Now, this will eventually collapse too, but when it collapses, it will collapse into anarchy, and race wars will begin to rage across the landscape, and people will kill you for a can of spinach in your cabinet.
And I asked you, should I go out and buy me a gun and protect myself? And you said no.
No, that's not what I said. I said that you should have those items on hand to protect yourself, your family, and your community. Didn't I?
I should already have that stuff already bought.
That's right. That's why our forefathers gave us the second article and amendment to the Constitution, was so that we could protect ourselves against a government should it become despotic and oppressive. And from
It's coming. I believe that. It's coming.
Yes, it is coming.
Very fast.
The purpose of this program is to wake the sheeple, empower the people, and try to save this nation and thus freedom for the world. You see, if we lose our Constitution and Bill of Rights, freedom will fall everywhere in the world that it exists. This is the only place in the world that has a chance to stave off socialism. Socialism has always destroyed everything that it has ever touched. It takes everything away from you, including your dignity and self-respect. And you reach a state of total dependency where the government becomes your father and you become a helpless child. And you pretend to work and they pretend to pay you. Is that what you want?
You have a right to vote, but you are not mandated to vote. You don't have to vote if you don't want to. And not voting is a way of protesting. And if you'll look at how many people in this country have stopped voting, it's got to be the biggest protest in the history of the nation. People are saying, we don't believe in the system anymore. We don't believe you're going to represent us. We don't believe our vote counts. We believe it's a waste of time, and so we're not going to do it. We believe that the outcome is going to be the same whether we go and vote or whether we stay home and don't vote. And you know, folks, they're absolutely right when they think that. Absolutely correct. Only difference between Gore and G.W. Bush is Gore would have taken us there a lot faster, and Bush is going to slow us down so his buddies in the oil business can make tons of money before world socialism takes over. And if you don't believe, if you think I'm full of it, you know, I've never been wrong about this stuff yet. If you think I'm full of it, just stick.
Good evening. You're on the air.
Hello, Bill.
Hello.
Yes. I'm good.
Turn off your radio, please.
I've been doing research and following up on the Masonic aspect of the New World Order. And I agree with you when you say that this country is a Masonic republic, and I understand all of this. What I can understand is, if these people are so after world domination, why would they give us a chance at this great Masonic experiment? Why wouldn't they just have it locked down 100 years ago?
Because it wasn't a chance. It was a sure thing. Our forefathers, if you read their writings, they knew more about human nature than any psychologist that lives on the face of the earth today. They knew we would give up our freedoms in exchange for our liberties and preserve the Republic. They also gave us everything in the Constitution that we could use to destroy our own selves. They understood that human nature is such that if we can get something for nothing, and if we think it's for nothing, that's the way we're going to go. And that's exactly what has happened.
So it was just sort of a hollow gesture, because they knew what the outcome would be then.
Well, not only it wasn't a hollow gesture, they had to establish this country in order to give the common man a taste of freedom for the first time in the history of the world. This had never happened before. It was the catalyst that toppled the kings and queens from their thrones in Europe. It took away the power that opposed them. Number two, it was to prove to the common man that he could not rule himself. They knew that human nature, common man would through his human nature, his human foibles and failings, give up everything that they had given us, and then that would be the reason quoted to us in the New World Order why we cannot have those liberties or freedoms.
I see. And so actually this was set up as the power transference was taken away from the old the aristocrats.
That's right, and this country was the instrument which would bring into the world the New World Order, and it was all put into the Great Seal of the United States. If you know how to interpret the symbolism of the mysteries, it's all right there. Who they were, what they were about, and what they intended to bring about is right there in the Great Seal.
I see. Did you know that Albert Pike is buried in the walls of the House of the Temple in Washington, D.C.?
Yes.
Yeah. And also, what is the UN meditation room?
It is a place where those who understand the religion of the New World Order go to meditate and practice through symbology the religion right there in the United Nations.
Okay, Bill. Well, thank you very much, Bill, and be careful.
You're welcome. Thank you.